You're listening to the Culips English podcast. To download the study guide for this episode, which includes the transcript, detailed vocabulary explanations, real-world examples, and a quiz, visit our website, culips.com. CULIPS.com. Hey everybody, my name is Andrew.
And I'm Suzanne.
And you're listening to Culips. Hey Suzanne, how are you?
I'm well, Andrew. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. What's new, Sue?
Well, I've been pretty exhausted lately, working really hard. And I just had to cancel on some evening plans for Friday night.
Well, if you're working hard, maybe you're quite tired. This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's true. I would rather rest and catch up on some Netflix, but I felt kind of weird in how I said no to my friends. And maybe, I don't know, I should have emailed them or called them, or I'm not really sure. I felt like I was a little clumsy in saying no.
Saying no to somebody who asks you for a favor or invites you to do something can be really, really challenging, and it's something I don't like to do very much, and I think it's actually pretty common to not like to turn people down. We want to make other people happy, right?
Totally.
But sometimes you have to practice some self-care, take care of you. And actually, Sue, it's funny that you shared this story with us because today we are going to look at exactly this skill, how to say no in English without being a jerk, without being rude.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds like a great episode.
Yes. So, guys, if you didn't know, you're listening to Real Talk, and this is the Culips series where we teach you the English expressions, language, vocabulary, and culture tips that you need to know for real-world situations. So if you're visiting or living in an English-speaking country, this will be especially applicable to this situation.
And today, we're going to explore how to say no without being a jerk.
Exactly. And guys, if you want to get the most out of your time today, head on over to culips.com to get the study guide for this lesson. All right, you'll get the transcript, detailed vocabulary explanations, real-life examples, and a comprehension quiz in the study guide. It is totally awesome. Once again, visit culips.com to get it right now.
For today's episode, we plan to listen to 3 short conversations where someone says no to someone else that asks them a favor. And then we're going to break down how each speaker declines the favor.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody says no, and we're going to really magnify in and examine how they say no. What expressions do they use? What cultural strategies do they use to save face and be polite, even though they are saying no to somebody? So 3 conversations and 3 breakdowns is the plan for today. So Sue, let's get right to it. Let's listen to that first conversation. And in this conversation, we hear a guy named Robbie ask his friend Emma if he can borrow her car. Here it is, conversation 1. Emma, I've got a big favor to ask of you.
Uh-oh. Okay, what is it?
Well, I'm planning to go to Toronto next weekend to watch a basketball game, but my ride fell through. I was wondering if I could borrow your car for the day. I'll take real good care of it.
I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't really feel comfortable letting you drive it.
Oh, come on. I'm a good driver. Hey, I'll even buy you dinner when I get back.
Oh, sorry, Robbie. It's just not going to happen. I wish I could help, but I can't. Why don't you just take the bus or something?
Okay, Sue, so we heard Robbie get shut down by his friend Emma when he asked to borrow her car. And yeah, I don't really blame Emma, because if somebody asked to borrow my car too, even if it was a good friend, I don't know if I'd let them do it.
Yeah. And so the first expression that Emma uses to shut Robbie down is, I don't feel comfortable letting you drive it, right?
I don't feel comfortable letting you drive it. I don't feel comfortable letting you drive my car.
Yeah. Or take it.
Yeah, or take it or drive it. This is a really good way to politely say that you don't want to do something, especially with responsibility attached to it, or maybe a valuable item like a car. You know, if something goes wrong, it's a really big problem. So this is how you can communicate that. I don't feel comfortable letting you do something, letting you drive my car. I don't feel comfortable walking your dog. I don't feel comfortable watching your kids, right? This is a good way to communicate that feeling.
Yeah.
Even though Emma says she doesn't feel comfortable lending her car to Robbie, Robbie persists. He's like, oh, come on, you know?
Yeah, he doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it. So Emma wants to really firmly tell Robbie no, because he's not quitting. So how can we really give a firm no to somebody?
Well, we make sure that they realize there are no holes. There are no possible little loopholes that they can try to maneuver. Close it down.
Exactly. And so Emma says, Robbie, it's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. Now, Sue, you mentioned something interesting about this expression a little earlier on when you and I were talking. And you said that maybe you would only use this with your close friends.
Yeah, I would probably only use it with a specific group of friends. I don't even know if I would use it with my closest friends. It's more people who are kind of annoyingly persistent and don't take no for an answer. They don't pick up the clues on, I don't feel comfortable letting you drive it. Most people, even my close friends, would get the hint and realize I'm not into it and just walk away. But someone who's a little annoying maybe, or not necessarily annoying, but just doesn't take no for an answer, you might need to say this kind of phrase. But for example, Andrew, I wouldn't say that to you. I know that you would understand and take the clues if I said I'm not comfortable doing something.
Well, I certainly hope I would act that way.
You're not taking my car, dude.
Yeah. It's a really good way to shut somebody down after they're just not listening to you. You're saying no, they're not listening to you. Finally, you can say, yo, you know what? It's just not going to happen, okay? Stop it. We're done here. I think in this situation, it's a really useful expression.
I also think that I wish I could help, but I can't is a really, really good expression, very useful. Because I could see myself saying, I don't feel comfortable letting you drive it. Sorry, I wish I could help, but I can't. I think maybe I wouldn't always say it's just not going to happen, but I would definitely say, I wish I could help, but I can't. Because you're showing your intentions are good and you really want to support the person. But in this case, it's just not negotiable.
Absolutely. So to go back to the theme of this lesson, which is how to say no without being a jerk. Yeah. Well, this is a really nice expression to use if you don't want to be a jerk. I wish I could help, but I can't. I wish I felt comfortable letting you drive my car, but I don't. So I'm not going to lend it to you. So I wish I could help, but I can't is a softening expression you can use just to convey that you empathize with the other person, but that you're still not going to help them at the end of the day. Sue, why don't we listen to our second conversation example for today?
Awesome.
And in conversation 2, we're going to hear Stephen ask his coworker, Janet, to cover his Saturday shift. Okay, Stephen will ask his coworker, Janet, to cover his Saturday shift. Janet, you are just the person I've been looking for.
Oh, hey, Steven, what's up?
Well, I was hoping you could help me out. I just got tickets to see a concert on Saturday night, but the only problem is I'm scheduled to work. And you know what? I noticed that you're not working then. So, hey, how about doing me a solid and covering my shift?
Yeah, I'm not able to do that. Sorry. Saturday night is the only night I have to spend with my family, and that's my personal rule to never work on Saturdays. Sorry about that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I get it. No problem. I'll figure something out. Okay, Sue, let's take another look at this conversation, specifically when Janet gives her response to Steven saying, no, she will not cover his shift. And first, maybe we should define this expression because maybe not everybody out there is familiar with it. What does it mean to cover somebody's shift?
Yeah, so when you work in like retail or service industry, like at a restaurant or grocery store, maybe a clothing store, you usually work in shifts and they usually last, between 4 or 8 hours. And you punch in. So you take your card, you punch in, or maybe you have a computerized punch-in system, and then you punch out, right? So sometimes, I guess, if you work at a desk, that kind of thing, you might have to stay late. The hours are more mutable. But when you work in like the service industry, you just clock in, you clock out, and you have a set shift.
That is exactly right. And a lot of times workers will trade shifts with each other to try and make their schedules a little more flexible. So if you want to do something, but you have to work, you can just trade that shift with somebody else, take one of their shifts in return. So everybody works the same amount of time, but you get the time off that you want. This is a really, really common strategy. I know when I was younger and I worked in retail, my coworkers would ask me all the time, Andrew, can you cover my shift? Hey, buddy, you're looking good today. Hey, do you want to take my shift? This kind of request I heard often.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to say, hey, you want to pick up a double? Because that means you can take my late shift and work the whole day and make extra cash. So you pick up the double shift.
Right. But often, You don't want to do that. And we heard Janet in this example turn down that request. And let's listen to her say no one more time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not able to do that. Sorry. Saturday night is the only night I have to spend with my family, and that's my personal rule to never work on Saturdays. Sorry about that.
So, Sue, the way that she started was to say, I'm not able to do that. Sorry.
Yeah.
She gave an extremely firm, right to the point answer.
That's right. She did. She made it clear from the get-go that she was not able to do the shift.
If you just say no, it's way too rude. So the way to not come across as a jerk here is to say something a little more polite than straight up no, right? So she says, I'm not able to do that. Sorry.
Right.
And then she gives a reason why, saying that Saturday night is family night. And she has a personal rule that she doesn't work on Saturdays and that she's sorry. So she, again, is showing empathy. She's ending the conversation politely, but she is being firm and saying no at the same time.
Does she need to give all of those reasons?
It's a good question. I don't think personally that she has to. I think this is optional. You know, it doesn't matter what the reason is. If you don't want to do something, you don't have to do it. So you could just say, I'm not able to do that. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's all right. But I think if you leave it at that, maybe people will think you're a bit of a jerk. Oh, why? Oh, she doesn't want to do it. You know, you might think like this.
Yeah.
So this is why I personally try to give a reason, but not too detailed. And if I don't have a reason, you know, I don't want to lie and make an excuse if I don't have one, then I will just say, I don't want to do that. I'm sorry, but I don't. Or I'm not able to do that. I'm sorry. And just leave it at that.
I think also when you work with the same people for a while, you want to be upfront and honest. And chances are they are going to know about your life more than just a stranger. So you can give those reasons or information, right? So when you were working in the service industry and had to change or switch shifts, your friends probably knew that, you know, you were in a band or you were going on vacation because you probably talked about it during work. So chances are they know about your life, but it really depends on the person. If they are the kind of person who wants to give reasons, or maybe they don't, you know?
Yeah, and a reasonable person will understand that.
Yeah.
So I think the take-home point from this conversation is the expression, I'm not able to do that, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay? It's polite, it's firm, and if you want to give a reason why, you can, but if not, that's fine too. A reasonable person will just accept that answer.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, Sue, let's finish up this episode with our third conversation example today. And in this conversation, Jess asks her brother-in-law to help her plan a birthday party for her husband. Here we go.
You know, your brother's birthday is right around the corner.
Yeah, that's right. It's only a couple weeks away, I guess. Wow, I can't believe he's turning 40.
I know. I was thinking about throwing a big surprise party for him.
Oh my God, he'll love it.
I know, right? The only thing is I'm terrible at throwing parties. Do you think you could help me with the planning? Your parties are always so fun.
Well, you know, I'm flattered that you asked me, honestly, but work is crazy right now. I don't think I have time to help. I'm sorry. Why don't you ask David instead? He throws great parties too, and I'm sure he'd love to help you.
you know what? That's not a bad idea.
All right, Sue, let's take a close look at conversation 3 here. What expression was used when he said no to helping with the party planning? How did he say this?
Well, it was interesting because he started off by being grateful or showing gratitude, right? I'm flattered that you asked me, right? Thank you for thinking about me. Or he's like saying like, thanks so much for asking. Thanks for asking. I'm flattered that you asked. And that's always a really good way to start off a no.
Yeah, flattered here means that you're really, really touched, right? You're like, oh, thank you. Like, it's so kind of you to think of me. Like, you enjoy my parties. You think that I'm good at throwing parties, and that's touching. That makes me feel good. So thank you for that. But no, I'm busy at work.
Yeah, and that's interesting, right? That second thing that he says, I'm super busy right now. Work is really busy right now. What do you think about that, Andrew?
If we compare it with the second example that we listened to just a moment ago, it's really the opposite, right? In the second example, we heard a really detailed explanation about why she couldn't cover the shift.
Yeah.
And here we have a really vague excuse. There's no details. It's just, oh, I'm busy with work, sorry. So it could be true, this excuse. It could not be. But does it matter? Not really. So this is just another example of how you can turn down a request. And to finish it, he deflects to somebody else, this poor guy, David, because he says, why don't you ask David? He's also good at throwing parties. And this could be something that you do honestly, or it could be just a strategy for saying no. But you can deflect to somebody else. Maybe you know somebody that would actually be more helpful for the situation. And you could say, oh, why don't you ask this person instead? Because maybe they can help you, or maybe they can be more helpful. And this is something that I think just brings a polite conclusion to the act of saying no, so that you don't seem mean, because you're actually trying to help them, right?
Yeah.
You're saying, I can't do it, but maybe this person can. Go talk to them. This is my way of helping you.
Exactly. You're offering a solution.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about. Sue, I think we will wrap it up right here. That's it for today.
That's great.
So, guys, thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. Again, our website is culips.com, and that is the place where you can download the study guide for this episode.
Yes. And remember that we're on Facebook at facebook.com/QLipsPodcast. And feel free to leave us a message or make a comment in the comments section. We love to hear from you guys. And you can also get in touch with us directly by emailing contact@QLips.com.
That's right. We will be back with another brand new episode soon. So we'll talk to you then. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Do you like listening to Culips? If so, please show your support by leaving Culips a 5-star rating and a review on iTunes or Stitcher. This helps new listeners find the show. So don't delay. Rate and review today.